I wonder what Richard Trumka thinks of all of this, the AFL-CIO president with us right now. Richard, the view the president has of Joe Biden is that he'll be the Chinese favorite candidate because he won't be tough on them. He'll just let them run roughshod over us, and that these kind of fights over espionage will drop under a Biden administration. What do you think of that?
I just totally disagree with that. I think Joe Biden will be tough on the Chinese. He'll be tough on the Koreans. He'll be tough on everybody that tries to hurt America in one way or another. I think he'll do a good job because he understands workers. I think he'll also work with us to try to bring back jobs to the United States and increase our security. Right now, we only produce 48% of the things necessary for national security. Neil, the other stuff's made overseas. We need to bring that stuff back to protect us, and I think he'll work with us. He'll change the tax code that currently rewards people for taking those jobs overseas, currently rewards people for locating in China, currently rewards people for letting the Chinese take our intellectual property rights away from us. So I think we need to look at it. I think he'll be tough on it.
Well, you know, it also rewards people. That is the president's latest plan to incentivize them to come back. Companies that have done that to come back and get better tax regulatory treatment here. And all that was going pretty well, obviously, before the virus hit. You mentioned the job thing. Before the virus, as you know, we were looking at record low unemployment levels, not only for your 13, 14 million members, but the country as a whole, virtually every major demographic group. The president says that your choice for president is going to reverse that. What do you think?
Well, first of all, Neil, I disagree with you about the tax code, because the tax code that was just passed actually incentivizes people to locate jobs overseas because they pay zero taxes if they locate a plant anywhere here but in the United States. So we just have to agree to disagree on that, because that tax code has been caustic and has rewarded people for moving jobs overseas. Look, yeah, we have a tough situation right now. We have 33 million people that are unemployed or are on unemployment benefits or applying for them. That's 1 in every 5 workers out there right now. That gives us an unemployment rate of about 19.7%. We need to focus on what we're doing right now. We need to pass the HEROES Act so that we can incentivize, we can help people who are losing their health care, people that are about to lose their unemployment insurance, Neil, so we can go through and help stabilize state and local governments so there's no more layoffs there. We can stabilize the post office. This Mitch McConnell's Senate has sat on things. Essentially, Neil, when it comes to workers, Mitch McConnell's Senate's been the graveyard for bills that are good for workers. He has to get on the stick and pass the HEROES Act so that we can get that economy back, because all of us want every one of those.
Let me ask you about that. And Joe Biden is in a situation, but Joe Biden's in a situation where the Democrat normally takes the union vote of those who have a union member in their household. Right now, he is looking at close to Obama-type numbers, where he has 58 to 60% of their support. Unfortunately, Hillary Clinton in the last go-round got 52% of that. Who's to say that that couldn't happen again? And that to repeat the Obama magic, you might need a different candidate. I know you have said at the time, I believe, when you first endorsed Joe Biden of Hillary Clinton and her bad numbers, that 30 years of being attacked by the right wing took a toll on her. You went on to say that Biden talks to you like a working person. He comes from working class people. You think it's going to make that much of a difference in industrial states to close the deal?
You know, look, Neil, Joe Biden knows working people. He's walked on our picket lines. He's been to our union halls. He understands working class psyche, and he wants to create jobs for us. When you contrast that to this administration, we have an OSHA right now that's the worst in the history of America. Workers are getting slaughtered on the front lines and dying because OSHA is absent. We have the most anti-worker, anti-labor NLRB in the history of the country right now. They do anything they can to prevent workers from getting a voice. All of that's apparent to workers. All you have to do is give them the facts, and they'll make up their decision who's the best for them. That's what it'll be about. And I believe that workers will overwhelmingly vote for Joe Biden in this election because of the choice between President Trump and Joe Biden when it comes to workers is very, very clear. Joe Biden is the best bet for working people.
So early on, prior to the virus, we had these record low unemployment levels. We had businesses booming, everything booming. People's, overall sense of economic security was booming. Do you think that the virus situation now has, in a weird way, helped your candidate? Because the longer it drags on, the more they forget what life was like before it.
Well, but Neil, I think you're asking the wrong question. I think the pandemic has shown the inadequacy of the president. He's not led in this pandemic. He's lied to the American public. I hate to say that because it really hurts me to say that, but he did. He told them this is nothing. And now we're getting, because he pushed people to reopen too early, you're seeing the backlash of that now in Texas and Florida and Arizona and in other areas. And we're on the front line.
A lot of leaders globally, right? A lot of leaders globally, Richard, mix the severity, right? I mean, if that's the case, was he alone in that?
I think he was the ringleader. He's the leader. That's his job. And that's why he's hurt himself so much, because he's abrogated that leadership. Take the meatpacking industry, Neil. Look, he ordered the meatpacking industry back into business, saying you have to work. No health and safety standards for the workers. 27,000 meatpackers have coronavirus right now. 10,000 new cases in the last month. And OSHA is absent. They're doing nothing, Neil. While workers are suffering and ultimately dying, they're sitting on the sidelines. They need to pass an immediate contagious disease standard so that if they won't enforce the law, at least we can enforce it to protect workers. And now with this resurge, you're going to have to protect workers even more. I don't like saying this.
All right.
I wish it weren't so. I wish the president had done the best job with this pandemic, but unfortunately he did not. He's done a bad job with the pandemic, and we're paying for it. Frontline workers that they call essential are dying. We're getting sick and we're dying. Nurses, firefighters, meatpacking people, all of us are getting sick and dying because we don't have a contagious disease standard, and we have a Department of Labor that refuses, Neil, to actually do anything to help workers. They've written one violation with 5,000 complaints came to them, and they wrote one violation. What about the other 4,999 complaints that they did nothing on? That's unacceptable.
All right, we'll watch it very closely. Just put it in context. Not all of us are dying or getting sick. We're well off our worst levels, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes, and we'll see how Joe Biden does. Richard, continued good health. Be safe yourself. Very good having you.
Thank you, my friend. You stay safe as well, and it's always good to be with you, Neil. Stay safe, you and your family.
Same here. The AFL-CIO, Big Cheese, Richard Trumka, speaking.